All right, guys, so we got to talk about this pretty hilarious moment on CNN as Donna Lemonade got triggered. He snapped on gonzo journalist slash internet personality Andrew Callaghan when discussing the new up-and-coming HBO documentary, This Place Rules, which chronicles American political events that led up to the January 6th insurrection or riot, I'm actually reading here, in 2021, whatever you want to call it, right? Riot, protest, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, okay? So he's chronicling that, and Don Lemon was asking him questions about the documentary, and let's just say Donna did not like this man's answer when he called out CNN to Don Lemon's face. Take a look.
Yeah.
And there's so much to talk about here when it comes to who you spend time with, what you saw. But, you know, when it comes to what's happening today, Enrico Tarrio, he was not at the Capitol on the 6th, but he still played a role in this, and he's facing some of the most serious charges that are stemming from that day. What did you see from him as you were shooting this?
Yeah, I just talked to him in the lead up to the January 6th Capitol riot. Just hung out with him a little bit in D.C. and Miami and elsewhere.
And what did you learn about him?
He sells T-shirts. He's the chairman of the Proud Boys. Yeah.
So no details about his involvement, his state of mind, or anything?
I mean, I don't think the movie's not just about like the Capitol riot and all that. It's also about like media echo chambers. You know what I mean? And like the dangers of the 24-hour news cycle, and how I think mainstream media, like Fox and even CNN, like competes for views by running constant 24-hour news cycles based upon fear, division, outrage, and panic, probably to like sell ads. So it's not just about the Capitol riot.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. First of all, I don't agree with what you're saying, but I'm not exactly sure of how that played into people going into the Capitol and rioting on January 6th. There's nothing fake about CNN.
Oh, I'm not saying like fake news. I'm just saying ramping people up and increasing division during that period of time. Just watching people kind of fall down the rabbit hole and be pushed into action and like just, yeah, falling down the conspiracy rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think more people would consider, you know, what's happening online and what happened with the former president and the messaging that he was putting out there and QAnon and so forth. That
oh yeah, I definitely agree 100% with that as well.
Yeah. So listen, there are literally so many jaw-dropping moments in your documentary, including a weightlifting scene with conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Yeah, for sure. He can bench press a lot, actually.
Why would you put that in? Why'd you spend so much time with him, and why is he such a big part of this film?
Well, I mean, you know, I just think that like whenever we were filming for the documentary, there was just certain moments that were super surreal that just kind of happened, and I felt like we had to kind of leave the footage in. So the Alex Jones weightlifting, whiskey drinking scene would also be one of those moments that I couldn't like leave out of the movie, for sure.
One thing that also stood out was what you heard from people when it comes to like conspiracy theories. I mean, there were parts where like children were shouting conspiracy theories, and I wondered as you talked to these people if you got the sense that they actually believed what they were saying, or what your takeaway was.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of people, you know, believe what they're saying. I just think that like, you know, the echo chambers in the media, especially more fringe media that a lot of these people are consuming, is pretty all-encompassing, and especially the mythology of QAnon, like, consumed a lot of people's lives during this period of time, and it kind of, like, just became everything they wanted to fight for up until the Capitol riot.
I do think we should point out a lot of those conspiracies are not from legitimate media. That's from like social media and websites where those things are pushed in like dark corners of the internet.
Oh yeah, but it's like people spend their whole time in these dark corners of the internet, so it feels very real to them, especially because I think the biggest problem is probably media literacy and like taking a lot of this information that's false as fact because of, you know, you're seeing it on Facebook, you're seeing it on Newsmax, you're seeing it on One American News Network, places like that.
Yeah, so I find this interview to be hilarious for multiple reasons. I will say, though, before I get into this, I don't know much about Andrew Callaghan. I don't know his politics. I believe that he's a leftist. That's what it looks like from what I'm reading, but I don't know that for sure. So if you guys know, let me know in the comment section what his political views are, but I don't think he is a conservative or somebody I would describe to be, you know, right-wing or whatever, right? And that's what makes this kind of hilarious to me because he's calling out CNN to their face, even though, again, I don't think he's on the right or conservative. And he's also calling out the media as a whole. And you can just see how triggered Don Lemon and his host get at just the idea, the thought, right, that CNN may be responsible for some of the political violence that we've seen in this country, which I've argued multiple times that that is the case. Now, I don't know what this film is arguing, okay, because I haven't watched this film. But from what I've read about the film, it covers all the events leading up to the January 6th protests, including the BLM riots, the COVID lockdowns, maybe even Antifa stuff as well, too. It covers all those things. And I've made the argument that the precursor to the January 6th protests was the BLM riots, Antifa riots, and all the things that happened in 2021, right? They were precursors because essentially the way the media treated that stuff, they ignored it or they either supported it, okay, or act like it wasn't a big deal. Fiery but peaceful, according to CNN. It made it okay. It sent the message that said, you know, it's okay to commit acts of political violence if you feel like you've been wrong, right? And CNN was one of those media outlets because of clicks, right? They were pushing the George Floyd narrative, right? Pushing the outrage narrative on police brutality in this country based off an overblown, you know, statistics or whatever, right? Based off a narrative that's not true, that black men are being systemically shot and killed in the streets by white police officers, right? That is what CNN pushed. They pushed that whole woke narrative, and they supported the BLM protest. And it's just hilarious to see Don Lemon's face when this guy basically states what I believe to be true, that CNN, like the rest of the media, right, all media does this. Yeah, I mean, they're putting out stuff for, you know, outrage, you know, they're trying to drive clicks, just like everybody else, okay? And what really bothers me is not that, because that's what everybody does. It's the fact that you just can't own up to it, right? Just own up to it. Let's be honest. CNN engages in outrage journalism like everybody else, right? This is why it's Trump news 24/7. Even when they say they're going to stop covering Trump, they can't stop covering Trump because Trump drives clicks. Trump drives views, right? It's something for them to talk about. And they did that all 2020. Okay, it was Trump, 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 Trump. And that was also a reason for the BLM protests and riots and stuff too. They try to blame that on Trump. They try to blame everything on Trump. These people were pushing fake news about Russian interference into the election, right? Fake news. That was about outrage. And Don Lemon has the nerve to snap just because CNN is being called out about it to his face, right? He threw CNN in there with Fox News because, you know, according to the left, the mainstream liberal media, only Fox News is fake news. All the other media outlets are 100% totally legit. It's just Fox News that is fake, right? You know, the outlet that actually covered the Hunter Biden story, right? They didn't say it was Russian disinformation / misinformation like CNN said, right? I'll never forget that segment where Wolf Blitzer like straight up basically said that this was Russian disinformation from Rudy Giuliani. He's an agent of Russia. Again, this is the same network that peddled the Steele dossier, the Trump PP tapes, right? They peddled all that fake news. But yet Don Lemon gets offended because CNN gets thrown in there with Fox News as, you know, hey, maybe, you know, y'all not all that legitimate. Maybe you're not as legitimate as you think you are. Because you're not, right? You're just like all these other outlets. You do exactly what they accuse Fox News of doing. They accuse Fox News of driving white outrage, right? They just trying to make white people upset for clicks, for views. I can say the same thing about CNN. You're trying to make colored folks, black people, so-called people of color, so-called marginalized folks. You're trying to make them upset for views and likes and clicks, right? They all in the same game. Just own up to it. Just own up to it. You're not above it all. You're not above it just because you call yourself a journalist and you work at CNN. That doesn't make you above it. CNN is fake news, right? CNN is fake news. You notice how Don Lemon said CNN is not fake. Nothing's fake about CNN. That's a shot at Fox News. He's trying to say that Fox News is fake news, but not CNN though. Again, the same outlet that has covered straight up fake news, lied about the news. I mean, I'm just saying. But my point here is this. yes, CNN, all these left-wing liberal outlets, especially MSNBC nowadays. If you watch MSNBC, again, there's some crazy stuff going on in their airways. Yes, they are all driving outrage and division for views. That's what they're doing. And it's just hilarious to see when they get called out to their face for doing that, how Don Lemon gets so offended by it, right? Because he knows it's the truth, right? He knows that's exactly what happens. Well, the media is not doing that. It's not the media. It's just the fringe media. It's the alternative media. The mainstream liberal media, they perfect. They can do no wrong whatsoever, right? Everything that's said on CNN is 100% true and factual, according to them. Again, these people are full of themselves, man. Again, it's no surprise that these are the same people that were all bent out of shape when, their colleagues got banned on Twitter. They got to taste their own medicine, right? Because they think they're above it. They don't think they have to follow the rules. Rules don't apply to them. Twitter's a private company until Twitter actually has to apply the rules to them. Once Twitter starts applying the rules to them, the private company argument goes out the window, right? Goes out the window. Again, it's amazing how that works. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.